So, Pastor Mathison, what does the Bible say about a virtuous woman? Unmute.
Thank you so much, Elder. What does the Bible say about a virtuous woman? We will just look at some of the texts or some of the verses in Proverbs chapter 31 about a virtuous woman. And then we are going to look at one example of a virtuous woman. It says here, who can find a virtuous woman? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts in her, so that he will have no lack of gain. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She stretches out her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches forth her hand to the needy. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the teaching of kindness. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but you excel them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. For today's virtuous woman Bible character, we will look at Abigail. Abigail, woman of faith and courage. In the book of 1 Samuel chapter 25, it gives us a glimpse into the life of a woman by the name of Abigail, a woman who diffused a crime that could have ended in mass murder. The name Abigail in Hebrew means my father's joy. Now, Nabal, the husband of Abigail, was very rich, and he lived at that time in Moab. And the scripture says that he was harsh and mean. Nabal had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. Nabal's employees were looking after his flock. David's men assisted them. They made sure that they were well, made sure that the flock was very well taken care of, and then they went their ways. David sent a young man to ask Nabal for some assistance, and the haughty and obnoxious Nabal repudiated David's request. David was angry and set out with 400 armed men to slaughter Nabal and every male in his household. When Abigail learned of David's action to commit mass murder to her household, she gathered food and other needed supplies, and she hurried to intercept David. Meeting David, the graceful Abigail, with humility, spoke to David of her husband's defiance, which she disdained anyway, and she asked David to forgive his meanness. And she also went so far to take responsibility, even though it was unknown to her, and told David of God's plan for his life. The war-thirst David became humble, his anger deflated, and he accepted the gifts. Shortly thereafter, Nabal died. David thanked God for thwarting his evil plans. He then asked for the hand of Abigail in marriage. The Bible described Abigail as a woman of good understanding. One version says that she was intelligent and beautiful. She was a mother who was tender and caring for her family. She was a woman of noble character. She was a woman of strength and courage. She was a woman of faith. She was a woman of humbleness, yet full of wisdom. She was a woman of influence. She was a woman of the word. She was that virtuous woman depicted in Proverbs. She was a woman of God. Abigail was a trailblazer, a pace setter. In fact, the Jewish Talmud listed her as one of the 7 Jewish prophetess in Judaism. I implore women of this generation to emulate the character of Abigail, the woman of God. I want to take this time to tell all the women out there, happy Mother's Day. God bless you all, and we are praying for you. God bless.